Have you ever given everything to someone, your time, your trust, your heart, only for her to walk away as if none of it ever mattered? Have you ever sat in the deafening silence after she left, wondering how the woman who once called you her world could vanish without a backward glance? If you've ever felt that, not just hurt, but betrayed, then this isn't just a video, this is your war drum, because this isn't for the man who wants pity. This isn't for the man who wants to stay broken. This is for the man who's ready to rebuild. You see, no one prepares you for the pain of being left behind. They tell men to man up, to move on, but they never teach us how to transform that pain, how to rise from it. They don't teach you that heartbreak isn't just loss, it's fuel, it's fire, it's a forge. And what you're about to hear is not soft advice, it's not flowers and feel-good fluff, it's hard-earned truth, it's emotional steel. This video will take you through a powerful transformation, from heartbreak to healing, from being broken to becoming bold, from chasing love to building legacy, from emotional wreckage to emotional mastery. And along the way, I'll show you what the ancient Stoics knew, that pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. You'll hear about men from history who were betrayed, abandoned, or broken. But instead of staying down, they rose so high that the world never forgot them. Marcus Aurelius, Theodore Roosevelt, Genghis Khan, Scipio Africanus, men who turned pain into purpose, men who used solitude to sharpen their soul. Because the truth is this, she might have walked away, she might be testing other options, she might even think she won, but that's only true if you don't rise. So this is your choice. Will her rejection break you, or will it become the spark that ignites your evolution? Because there's nothing more powerful than a man who's been hurt and chooses to turn that pain into power. If you're ready to stop chasing, if you're ready to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even bandage you, then this journey is yours now. Like, share and subscribe if you're ready to rebuild your mind, your mission, and your masculinity. And comment below when something hits deep, because your next chapter starts now. 1. Heartbreak is the beginning of the real you, the pain that woke up the warrior. Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m., haunted by a question you can't shake? Was I not enough? Have you ever reread her last message for the 100th time, hoping to find that one sentence, that one clue, that one moment where it all began to slip away? Every man, no matter how strong, successful, or smart, will one day have his heart returned to him, shattered. And when that moment comes, you're standing at a fork in the road. Will you collapse under the weight of her absence, or will you rise from the ruins and become the man you were born to be? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." She left? That's what happened. You're hurting? That's honest. But what comes next? That defines your legacy. You see, relationships don't just reveal love, they reveal weakness. When she left, it didn't just break your heart, it shattered your illusion. The illusion that love would fix your purpose, that comfort was safety, that she would stay if you gave her everything. Good, let that illusion die. That death is your beginning. Pain is the great revealer. It exposes the blind spots in your soul. It strips you bare until all that's left is the truth. And the truth is this: you depended too much on her validation. You made her your mission instead of making your mission your mission. You handed her the keys to your emotional stability and watched her drive off with them. But here's the thing, that was your training. You weren't destroyed, you were instructed. This pain, it's not a wall, see, it's a mirror. And now you take it all back. From this moment forward, every tear becomes a rep. Every lonely night becomes fuel. Every memory becomes a brick in the foundation of the man she'll never recognize again. You don't chase, you don't beg. You build the body, train the mind, reclaim your spirit, secure the mission, and never make a woman your purpose again. Because when a man becomes emotionally untouchable, when his mission becomes his obsession, when his silence becomes his storm, she loses all power. That's the truth no one tells you. You don't win by getting her back. You win by becoming a man she can never reach again. And in that moment, when you're unbothered, unbreakable, and unstoppable, you realize the heartbreak wasn't the end, it was the rebirth. What part of yourself did you sacrifice for that relationship? And how will you reclaim it now, piece by piece? Comment below. Her rejection woke up the real me. 2. The men who were broken are the men who changed history. How heartbreak built the most powerful men the world has ever known. Let's strip away the myth and look straight into the eyes of truth. The greatest men in history, the ones whose names carved empires, transformed nations, and reshaped civilization, were not born invincible. They were betrayed, abandoned, broken, forgotten. They were men who lost everything, men who sat alone in silence, men who were brought to their knees by death, by heartbreak, by betrayal, and then stood back up as something the world had never seen before. Let's start with a man whose name still strikes awe and fear, Genghis Khan. Before he conquered half the known world, he was Temujin, a boy left to die. His own tribe turned their backs on him after his father was poisoned. His family was cast out into the Mongolian wilderness, starving, hunted, and isolated. At one point, he was even captured and enslaved. And yet, he didn't stay broken. He escaped. He watched. He waited. And over time, he united the fractured Mongol tribes, trained them with ruthless discipline, and unleashed a storm across Asia and Europe that would become the largest land empire in history. Pain didn't destroy him. It built him into a conqueror. But he's not the only one. Let's talk about Theodore Roosevelt again, because his story matters for every man dealing with emotional loss. He lost the two most important women in his life on the same day, his wife, his mother, gone. In his journal, he didn't write a monologue, just a giant black X on the page, and the chilling words, "The light has gone out." Can you imagine the silence of that moment? Most men today would numb themselves. Alcohol, porn, temporary women, social media validation. But Roosevelt didn't escape. He retreated, not to hide, but to rebuild. He went into the wild, into the harsh, unforgiving badlands of the American West. He learned how to survive, to ride, to hunt, to fight nature. And in doing so, he fought the grief that lived inside him. And when he returned, he didn't come back broken. He came back unstoppable and would eventually lead the most powerful nation in the world. Because here's the raw truth. Men are not made in comfort. They are sculpted in silence, sharpened by heartbreak, hardened by betrayal, and risen by choice. And the men who change history, they are the ones who used pain as a ladder, not a leash. Let's go deeper. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years in a cold cell, cut off from family, friends, and freedom, betrayed by the very society he tried to help. But when he walked out of that cell, he didn't come back bitter or broken. He came back wise, strategic, forged in fire. He didn't let the pain define him. He let it refine him. Or consider Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king and Roman emperor. He lost multiple children, faced plague, war, and betrayal from his own inner circle. But instead of crumbling, he turned to philosophy. He wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's Stoicism. Not numbness, but powerful emotional discipline. And what about you? You've been hurt? You've been lied to? You've been left behind? And maybe no one sees the storm you're carrying. Good, because now you're in the same position as every great man who came before you. Now you have a choice. The average man sedates himself to forget, but a real man sits with his pain until it teaches him what he must become. Most men crumble after heartbreak, but the legendary ones build something so powerful from it that the world has no choice but to remember their name. So what do you do now? You stop running. You stop blaming. You stop waiting for her to come back. You start turning your suffering into structure, your tears into tools, your rage into fuel. You don't let her win. You let the pain sharpen your crown. You don't beg to be chosen, that you become so focused, disciplined, and mission-driven that the past becomes irrelevant. Because men who don't need validation, men who no longer seek permission to feel worthy, those are the men who are feared. Those are the men who change history. What pain shaped your path? And how will you make sure it fuels your future, not defines your past? Comment below. I'll use pain the way kings used fire. The most dangerous man is silent, focused, and unattached. When you become a man of purpose, she will never catch up. Let's get brutally honest for a moment. She doesn't miss you right now. She's out there testing the waters, flirting with other options, seeing what else is out there, and thinking that you'll just sit by, waiting, hoping, maybe even breaking down. But here's the truth she doesn't realize. You're done. Done being emotional. Done running after something that isn't yours to chase. You're building. You see, there is nothing more terrifying and nothing more attractive than a man who doesn't chase, doesn't complain, and doesn't react. A man who's so focused on his purpose, so immersed in his peace, and so powerful in his own right that the world can't touch him. When you become that man, you stop begging, you stop texting, you stop obsessing over what went wrong and what could have been. Because the truth is, you start to realize you are the prize. You're not cold, you're in control, you're not bitter, you're building something no one can take from you. You don't need revenge, because your evolution is your revenge. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said, "He who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than necessary." What does that mean for you? Stop playing the emotional victim. Stop rewinding the mental highlight reel of what could have been. Stop reliving the moments she tore you apart, or that she never appreciated you. Instead, use that suffering as fuel to transform yourself into a version of yourself so powerful, she won't even recognize the man you've become. Become the man she can't even reach anymore because he's too far above her drama. Look at men like Marcus Aurelius. He wasn't the emperor because of his physical strength. He wasn't the emperor because he had a vast army or vast wealth. He was the emperor because he had mastery over his emotions, over himself. The quiet, disciplined strength of a man who could sit in solitude, not just endure pain, but rise from it. That's the kind of man you're becoming. A man who doesn't need anyone's validation. A man who doesn't react to the chaos around him. A man who builds in silence, rises in solitude, and only lets his success speak for him. Focus on what truly matters, and let the world around you watch as you become unshakable. Financial power. Become the man who controls his own wealth. No one can take it from you. Physical transformation. Sculpt your body into a fortress, a vessel of strength, and a symbol of your willpower. Deep purpose. What drives you? What legacy will you leave behind? Emotional mastery. The real strength is the ability to remain calm in the face of chaos. Brotherhood. Surround yourself with men who share your vision. Men who refuse to stay down. and who build their own empires in silence. You don't need to chase her or anything else anymore. Let her see you from a distance and wonder who you've become. But by the time she realizes it, you've already outgrown her. You've moved beyond the relationship. You've moved beyond the pain. And you've moved beyond the man you once were. Now you're a man of power, building an empire that can never be torn down. You are the storm. What are you focusing on daily that is making you stronger, more disciplined, and more powerful than you've ever been? Comment below. Datya, I'm becoming the man she'll never reach again. 4. Your pain is the blueprint. Now build your empire. The true power comes from what you build after the fall. Now listen carefully. This is where it gets real. If you stay stuck in the pain, if you stay bitter, if you stop growing, she wins. But if you rise in silence, with discipline, with purpose, the world will watch the birth of a new king. Pain is not a prison. Pain is a blueprint. Use it. When your heart was broken, a door opened. A door into a new version of yourself that only pressure could unlock. You were tested, and now you're being forged into something the world has never seen before. Think about this. Every empire was built from the rubble of something destroyed. Every legendary figure faced their lowest point, only to rise as something greater than they could have ever imagined. And this is your moment to rise. From now on, your mornings are owned by discipline. Every sunrise is a call to action. Your nights are invested in legacy. Every hour before you sleeps is an opportunity to shape the world you want to leave behind. Your life, from this moment on, becomes proof that no woman, no betrayal, no heartbreak, no silence will ever be enough to stop you again. This is your renaissance, your rebirth, your uprising. In ancient times, the greatest empires were not built in moments of comfort. They were built in times of struggle, pain, and sacrifice. Just like the Stoics taught, your control over your emotions is your true power. You don't let the chaos of the world rule you. You rule yourself. You don't let life break you. You break your limits. Look at the greatest men in history. Alexander the Great was forged in the pain of loss. When his father was assassinated, Alexander was left to rule an empire on the brink of collapse. Rather than crumble, he took that pain and used it as a fuel to build one of the largest empires the world had ever known. Thomas Edison, the man who revolutionized the world with the light bulb, faced failure after failure. He was mocked, rejected, and left in the dark by many of his peers, but instead of quitting, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He built his empire from his failures, just like you must now build your own from your pain. And remember the powerful words of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher king: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your pain is not an obstacle, it is your path forward. Your greatest asset right now is not your past relationship, your failures, or your heartache. Your greatest asset is your discipline, your resilience, your ability to get up, stand tall, and build a life that no one, not even she, can ever take away from you. Stop looking back. It's time to stop living in the past. Time to stop wondering what went wrong, or if you could have done more, or if you're somehow less because of her rejection. You must build forward, not only because you're capable, but because the world is waiting to see who you'll become. The man you are becoming will be unrecognizable to the one you were. Don't let her win. Don't let her be the last chapter of your story. Let her be the reason you became unbreakable. Let her be the spark that lit a fire you can't put out. Use your pain as fuel. Let it drive you to become the man who, a year from now, will look back and say, "That pain made me." It didn't break me, it built me. When you're consistent, when you focus on what you can control, when you rise from the ashes of your former self, you create something unstoppable. This isn't just about healing. This is about becoming a force, a man who will rise above all, create his own path, and show the world that no one can take what is rightfully his. What will your life look like a year from now if you stay consistent and use this pain as your fuel to build your empire? Comment below. She didn't destroy me. She activated me.